Well, the book is called The Bitterest PLC To Swallow. So, the book is all about the changes in the last 40 years of what's happened to the pub industry in the UK. For when there used to be family owned businesses like Whitbread, when I started working 40 years ago in a pub, it was Whitbread, and Sam Whitbread was still the chairman. Nowadays, all the big pump companies, they're all owned by multinational conglomerates or billionaires from around the country. There's no family connections to them anymore. Places like Green King. I mean, Green King is owned by a Hong Kong businessman. But for some reason, people still think it's this lovely little local brewery. Well, it's got nothing to do with that anymore. And I thought that people needed to actually know the truth, because these big financial institutions, they're not looking after you as a guest. They just want your money. It's the small brewers, it's the small pub operators. They're the ones who are still looking after their guests. And I wanted to tell the truth about it.
Just for people who don't know, explain the PLC in the title.
Well, that's the public limited
Public.
company. So basically, that's a company that is owned by shareholders. And them shareholders, they want their cut. They want their slice of the money. All right, and they don't care how they generally get it. Now, the only place in big pub corporations you can actually save money is by reducing the labour costs, because that is actually the biggest cost of it all. So every single time the shareholder gets worried about the cost of ingredients going up or something like that, it's only the hours of the staff that gets that gets cropped down, because that's the only place they can actually save money. That's why I don't work for the big boys anymore, because that's absolutely what they do.
So is there a little bit of Big Brother in all this somewhere, that the big, instead of the government, it's the big corporations who are kind of setting the pace and as you say, cutting things to the bone, or is it something else?
Well, there is government actions, of course. The amount of duty, the amount of VAT we spend on alcohol and drinks within pubs, it is absolutely ridiculous compared to the rest of the world. Well, apart from one or two of the Nordic countries, etc. But generally, around the world, you have places like Germany and France, etc., and they don't pay a fraction of the taxation that we do on alcoholic drinks. It's absolutely criminal. I mean, a brewer, when they brew drinks, right, when they ferment them or whatever, they have to pay VAT in it, then they pay duty on it, then you have to pay VAT on it again when you buy it over a bar. It's absolutely crazy. So they get treble dips of taxation on alcohol, the government. It's just bonkers. But it is the big corporations who take the money out of the country nowadays and out of the industry. They buy brands, they create brands, because brands are worth so much more, right? And then they sell them. They sell them to other financial institutions, who will then load that company with debt, right, and then carry on taking money out of it. It's just, honestly, it is beyond belief when you begin to look into it, just how much money gets taken out of the UK hospitality industry.
So tell us a little, maybe one or two of your happier experiences in the licensing trade.
I have thoroughly enjoyed the whole 40 years I've been doing this job. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. During lockdown, I was that bored, of course. Well, that's exactly why I wrote the book in the first place. Yeah, I enjoy being a proper landlord of a proper pub. And I've run every kind of pub. I've run sports pubs, I run really, really cool fashion bars in Manchester, Liverpool, Newcastle, even Edinburgh. I've run lovely locals, I've run family restaurants, I've run everything. I'm back where I started. I'm back in a local community, really high standard pub, where I can deliver for my guests, where every guest knows my name, I know all their drinks, and everybody chats and chats and chats, and everybody's welcome. I'm in a really kind of influential, a really kind of, what's it called? Expensive area down here, right? But the multimillionaires come in my pub, but they sit next to the people who've only got £5 in their pocket. It's that kind of place. It's a real, genuine community. And this job has brought me so much joy over the years. And I've met so many thousands and thousands of people. And until I was 45 years old, I never really had a full-time girlfriend. All I was doing, I was actually married to my pubs and my customers and my staff. It's been an absolute wonderful, wonderful career.
Is it possible for the little guy to make a living then out of all this?
Well, it is, but you've got to be really good at what you do. As I say, I work for a very small brewery down here in the southeast, still family owned. So, and they do very, very well. But we do very, very well because we're not trying to overly discount. We're not cutting back on staff. We're making sure that when the guest comes in, they have a really great time. Right, my staff walk around here. The whole team are happy. They've got a smile on their face. Nobody's rushed off their feet because there's not enough staff at work. We keep a great atmosphere for our guests, and our guests feed off the atmosphere of the team. So my job, I've already got one job, and that is to make people happy. That's my one job. I make my team happy. They make our guests happy. You can make a good living out of this if you're a small operator, but you've got to be very good at what you do. You've got to understand the people who are in and around your pub.
And just to wrap up with, what inspired you to write the book?
Well, it was I was really really frustrated when when I heard right at the beginning of lockdown. Right, you started to hear about all the furlough and this, that, and the other, and then people were talking badly about staff being paid, etc. I remember Tim Martin when he didn't want to pay any of his staff. I mean, he wanted them all ready to go and work in Tesco, and I just thought that just goes to show what shareholders do to pub companies, and so it was this which kind of inspired me to say, right, let's tell people the difference between a pub in 1982 to a pub in 2022. And I wanted to write the book in a way that I've written it very, very vividly. It's very funny. It's extremely rude, right? But it's also a real eye opener, right? You will learn things about pubs that you had no idea about. It will actually give you a good idea of where to go and spend your money, not to spend your money. And I wanted to stop all the young people who are working in retail and licensed retail getting caught out in the wages trap, because there are certain things that big companies can do to really suppress your wages with national insurance and etc. This, that, and the other. And I've exposed all these tricks so that young people don't get caught out financially by some of these big companies who just want to take the money.